Hey everybody, it's your boy Nathan Crash, and welcome to Nathan Crash Gets Bodied by the Internet, or just Bodied by the Internet. And if you're not familiar with the format, I'll tell you right now. I read a creepy story off the internet, and I give it a number rating, tell my thoughts. You're encouraged to do the same, and all you have to do to play the game is like, comment, and subscribe. You can share the video if you want to, that'll help out a ton. But let's dive right into it, right into this. Before all of that though, if you want to leave stories or like suggestions for stories that you want me to do on the channel, go ahead and leave that in the comment section. That's always appreciated, and those usually take priority. So if you want to hear a story, I don't know, read, or you want to hear my thoughts on it, whether it's a good story or not, just leave that in the comment section. I'm more than willing to give it a shot. So let's start up our little campfire. Beautiful. And let's dive right into this. The first story we're reading, it's off the Let's Not Meet subreddit, and it is called My Sister Helped Kill 6 People. I was hesitant to post this because I haven't told anyone, but here we go. I've changed names, of course, to protect identities. I live in a small county with a festival in May and hog racing in June and a curfew of 9 p.m. A few years ago, our county was shaken up due to multiple apparent overdoses. A few people were arrested that same month. The overdoses happened. One of them was my older sister's boyfriend at the time, Jim. Jim was a dealer and made his own stuff. Nobody knew what he put in it except for him, his runners, and my sister. It was laced with fentanyl, which is a pain medication. Taken in high doses, it caused death and was fast acting. The addicts didn't know what was in the heroin, they just wanted a high. Jim and my sister, however, knew what they were selling to them. I didn't know what my sister was doing at first until years later. I met someone at school, befriended them, and we were both new to the school and neither of us had a lot of friends. We both had Facebook, so naturally, at that age, we thought it was cool, so we friended each other. This is when I found out her brother Tom passed away at the same time Jim was arrested. Not only that, but due to my younger brother having a birthday, my sisters and me took photos together and posted them on Facebook. My friend saw them and told me something I thought I'd never hear. Your sister was at my house the day Tom passed away. My heart dropped, but I knew. My sister helped kill all those people. It wasn't just Jim. And eventually I got my answer when Jim called us from jail. He didn't want her to go to jail because he loved her, because he cared for her. My sister promised she would wait for him. 2 months later, she latched onto another man who would eventually be found dead from apparent suicide after my dad passed away. And after my dad passed away, she's gotten worse. She made death threats to us, wished death upon us for something out of our control. So, to my loving crackhead sister, let's not meet again. Okay. That was kind of a short one. Plausibility wise, I mean, I guess it's pretty well rooted in reality, as most let's not meets tend to be. I'll give this one like a 4.5. I mean, it's not like one of the creepier Let's Not Meets, but it is kind of unnerving. So that does give it a little bit of. It's a pretty real situation because I know some people who are like kind of, or I know of people who kind of fell into like bad crowds, and that stuff is a very plausible. It's very plausible for stuff like that to happen, I guess. So that kind of lends itself to a very real sort of unfortunate events, I guess. It's just like, that's pretty shitty, and I wouldn't wish for that to happen to anybody, or for anyone to be that close to a situation like that. So I'll give it like a 4.5. It's a pretty unnerving thing, especially if it's family like who's caught up in that, and yeah, it's all bad news. So yeah, that's like a 4.5, maybe a 3. So the next one, I'm hoping this one had like a cool title, so that's the only reason I went into that. And by the way, the poster is called House of Shane, so good job on the story, wasn't terrible. Let's get into this next one. It's called The Guys with the Snake Tattoos. Let's Never Meet Again. Hello, mandatory, long-time lurker, first-time poster. Also on mobile, so please bear with me. So a couple years ago, I was maybe in 7th or 8th grade. My friend and I were walking home from the bus stop. We lived in an apartment building at the time, so the only way to get to our units was through the elevators in the garage. One such elevator, one we frequently used, was behind the main office. Important to the story, by the way. which had large glass doors. So standing in front of the elevator meant you could see directly into the office and what was going on. Okay, back to the story. My friend Jo decided she wanted some water. The office typically stocked some water bottles, and people could take one when they needed it. As she was going into the office, a group of large, heavily tattooed men came and stood beside me. Nothing was particularly wrong with most of them, but the two closest to me stood out. Both had snake tattoos and were sneaking glances at me. Now, I am the most paranoid person you will ever meet. I'd like to think that's what saved me that day. So them staring at me freaked me out. So I inched closer to the office doors, just in case. The two saw me and then looked at each other. This was the conversation exchanged between them. You really think we should do this? They're young. They wouldn't know what's happening. But I couldn't hear what they said. She'll be a feisty one, glances at me. And that was enough to set me off. So I just quickly, as casually as I could, walked into the office. Till this day, I don't know for sure what they were talking about, but I don't care. I was creeped out enough to worry about my safety, so I did what I thought was best. Anyway, I headed in and told Jo what happened. She shrugged it off, always more courageous than me, but saw how creeped out I was, so decided we wait until they left. We waited, sitting in chairs, and saw that they got into the elevator. So when we got up, we waited for the elevator's doors to close and headed out. I'd love to say that that's where the story ends, but no. We waited for the elevator, and when the doors opened, guess who we saw? The men. Yay! They all smiled at us and asked if we were going up. Jo said yes, and they gestured inside. As she was heading in, I looked up. Above the elevator doors was a small electronic sign that posted the direction the elevator was going, and a down arrow. Needless to say, the elevator was not going up. I put a hand in front of her, stopping her, and pressed the down button on the inside of the elevator, hoping the doors would close. I smiled and muttered something about how it was too crowded and we would wait. Jo saw my hand shaking and also looked up. I still remember the shock on her face, eyes widening and face turning completely white. The two guys with the snake tattoo saw this, and one tried to keep the door open while the other tried to grab Jo's hand. Thankfully, she was fast enough to back away, and the doors were quick to close. We both ran into the office and opted for the stairs. Neither of us were sprinters, but the way we ran up those stairs that day should be enough to win a medal. We didn't see those guys around again, as we didn't give them the chance. I told my mom what happened, and she started picking us up from the bus stop and using different routes through the apartment to get us to our units. I don't know what those guys' intentions were, nor do I want to know. I know enough to know it wasn't good. So guys with the snake tattoos, especially, please, let's never meet again. That one's gonna be a much I think that's like a 6.5, because that's like that's very real. That's such a scary, especially if you're like vulnerable like that, like you're really young, and you know these are grown men trying to like in a group trying to abduct you. That's pretty creepy, and it's even scarier because you kind of have your friend there, and you know you would think, you know, oh well, you know, at least I have a friend with me. You know, it's like it's a group of grown men, like two teenage girls aren't really going to be able to do much, and then one of them is almost too trusting, you know, almost in a way, almost to a fault where she's kind of goading the situation. She's like, oh, you know, like you're being a baby or whatever, like, you know, we'll just get in the elevator with these dudes, see, they're not that bad, and you know they're totally trying to like deceive them and like, you know, do God knows what. I mean, honestly, like it's, you know, they're I don't know. I don't want to get into like what their intentions might have been, because I can only imagine the worst kind of stuff. But that's gonna be like a solid 6.5. That's pretty creepy. And that leaves like a pretty bad taste in my mouth. I kind of have I don't know. I kind of have like a weak stomach for stuff like that. Because I'm not a big fan of like abductions and stuff. I mean, I don't think anyone really is unless they're like weirdos. But yeah, that stuff always kind of gets to my nerves. Good job on Alicia Reed's. That was a really it's very visceral, just because it's like nothing really happens in it, but it describes a situation that I feel like a lot of people would be terrified to be in. They're not even in high school. Just doing a cursory glance at like the beginning of the story, they're in middle school, so like they're definitely not doing shit. Like that's yeah, that's like just a bunch of big old biker dudes just trying to kidnap some middle school kids. That's pretty rough. But that's gonna do it for this one, guys. I know this one is kind of on the shorter side. I'm trying to keep the episodes like a little more bite-sized so I can, you know, keep putting them out in like more digestible chunks. If you like this format, go ahead and let me know in the comment section. If you don't, like, also feel free to voice your opinion. Like, these are all things that, like, you know, I'll take into consideration. I don't want you guys to feel like I'm skimping you guys out on like on content. I just want to feel like I'm putting stuff out more consistently. I feel like lately I've been hitting the Monday, Wednesday, Friday a lot more consistently, and every now and then I'll throw a bonus episode out there. So I hope you guys are appreciating that. I know, like, in terms of playing actual games, that's kind of like fallen to the wayside a little bit. The gaming videos aren't. Jeez, I got like hiccups. I drank like a monster to the dome and it's fucking me up. Those aren't going anywhere. If you want to see the gaming videos, you know, make sure you click the bell, because, you know, those are going to be a lot more sporadic for the foreseeable future, just because of I'm sort of in a transitionary period and there's a lot of stuff going on that end, so it makes things a little difficult right now for me to be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be a lot more consistent. It takes a little bit more to get into the headspace to play a game, and honestly I've been having a lot of fun with the series, but gaming is still going to be on the channel. I will be streaming more often soon. I had a stream recently. It just, you know, again, it's a transitionary period. I'm trying to figure a lot of stuff out all at once, but, you know, I want to thank you guys for the continued support. We're at 100 subscribers, and it's all because of everything you guys do. Like, you guys sharing our content, you guys liking, commenting, and subscribing is helping expose us to more people. Like, keep sharing, keep doing all you guys have been doing, because honestly, the growth we've seen in the last month has been unprecedented, and if we can keep this shit up, like, honestly, I mean, maybe one day I'll be able to do this full time. But thank you guys again for everything you guys have done. It's always appreciated. I'll throw we're playing Layers of Fear, Layers of Fear 2. If you wanna, that's like our first sequel, our first sequel series. So definitely check out our playthrough of Layers of Fear 1 and 2. Layers of Fear 2 will be weekly. Sherlock Holmes will still. It's like on a pseudo hiatus. We just haven't had time for another recording session. So that'll appear in some capacity. Sekiro will also appear a little less frequently because you know, that's the one that kind of fell the most by the wayside. If anything, I might just pick that up as just like a standard Bodied series and play that on my own. You know, that's kind of up to you guys. You guys can sort of leave comments and tell me how you feel about that. But enough rambling. I'm gonna shut off this campfire real quick. So yeah, that's gonna do it for this one, guys. We'll have another episode out soon. Maybe we'll have a bonus episode this week. You know, you guys have been eating up the content pretty consistently, and I think you guys have been enjoying it, and I've been enjoying making it. So, you know, let's keep this symbiotic relationship going. Again, if you have any stories that you want to leave, like, suggestions for, go ahead and leave that in the comment section. If you want to tell me your thoughts and your ratings for the stories I've read today, go ahead and leave that in the comment section as well. It's always appreciated. If there's any games you want to see me play, go ahead and leave that in the comment section. Another way you can help our channel grow is following me on Twitter at ITS Nathan_Crash, and then you can also follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/Nathan_Crash. Doing that helps me out a ton because I'm almost partnered, or not partnered, I'm almost affiliate, and if you guys, you know, help me get to affiliate, I can start getting subscribers on Twitch. And, you know, once those subscriber numbers hit like a viable number for me to sustain myself, I might quit my job and do this full time, which I would love to do. But that's entirely up to you guys. I'm not, you know, that's only if you want to. Like, I'm not saying you have to. I'm not gonna bug you guys about it. It's just, you know, I feel like I need to reiterate that point every time. It's because, you know, I really enjoy making this content, and I hope you guys enjoy seeing it enough, you know, where we can kind of piggyback off of each other. But thank you guys for everything. Have a wonderful night, guys, or day, whenever it is, wherever you are. Just have a good one and try not to get bodied. I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye-bye.